If you enjoyed today's episode, I'm going to ask you to click on the links below, follow, subscribe, become part of the conversation. And remember, listen up. Hello, everyone. I'm Al Neely with Listen Up Podcast. And today we have Sabrina Davis. She's the founder and the executive director of Reset Inc. and her outreach coordinator, Honesty. Say hello.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you for coming here. One of the reasons I wanted to have you in studio, we did an on-site interview, but what came across to me was your passion for what you're doing. Reset is a nonprofit foundation, and the whole idea is to support the community, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about your mission with Reset, what inspires you, and just go in to explain to everybody what Reset does.
So Reset was founded in 2023.
Okay.
I was actually having a conversation with our director about starting over, people needing second chances.
Director of?
Reset Inc.
Okay.
We were just having a conversation about, falling but not staying there.
Right.
And having that chance. And, we both looked at each other and was like, sometimes in life, everyone needs a reset. We laughed it off. And then we stopped and we looked at each other and we said, that's the name of an organization, because what stood out to me was a reset button. Every time they tell you need to troubleshoot, especially electronic, what do they say? Have you tried to reset?
Right.
And so from that point, we said, you know what? Reset is restructuring education, social development, and economics together.
Right.
The capacity in which we want to continue to help our community,
right,
not just by giving them handouts, but giving them a hand up and allowing them to see that, your situation does not define you. You may be down today, but tomorrow is a whole nother day.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to give that hope, embody that principle that we are going to be the change we want to see.
Right. So it's a nonprofit. It's a 501c3. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And you started to provide service for the underserved communities in the area. You even work with veterans.
Yes, veterans.
Seniors,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So I understand the underserved. We'll go into that in just a minute, because that's the majority of what you do, right?
Right.
But you also have a background in home care, right?
Yes.
So is that where your passion came from, helping seniors, or how did you roll that into the organization?
So I've always had a love for the most vulnerable, which have been children and elderly.
Okay.
And those are the vulnerable population. And elderly always gravitate to me. And so ever since I was a kid, they just had this liking and this love for me. So fresh out of high school, one of the first things I decided to do was go to Bon Secours to become a certified nursing assistant. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed working with the seniors. I enjoyed helping people. I've always had a love for just doing for others.
Right.
And so that is what started me along the process of working with the seniors. I'm growing up in a church and having seniors around. My mother, growing up, was the the president of a senior choir. So, of course, as children, we went with her to her meetings and choir rehearsals. Mm-hmm. And we were brought up in a church. We have roots deeply rooted into, the Baptist church. So for me, being around seniors is just, second nature.
Right, yeah.
But then I started a home health care business.
Oh, okay.
And so with that, we provide home health care services and skilled services.
What is the name of your
Agape Care.
Agape Care.
Yes.
Okay, which agape, everybody understands that means love.
Yes.
Right, okay.
And one of our, one of the driving forces is to say to our patients and their families is that we're going to love on your family member as if they were our own.
Right.
They're going to get that same love and care that your family would provide to them. Sometimes maybe even better.
Right. Honesty. How did you become involved? How long have you been with Sabrina?
I've been with Sabrina since like the very beginning of January.
Okay.
2025.
Okay, gotcha.
We're both on the Nextdoor app. I knew nothing about it. I've been working in nonprofit since I was probably about 15.
Really? Okay.
So I'm, in turn with working with another nonprofit, God led me to Reset. I'm trying to expand, trying to reach out, and trying to make sure that the community has all the resources necessary.
Yeah.
Her 24/7 pantry is one of my major go-tos for the community. So when they can't get to the pantry, I, as her outreach director, make sure that the community has food outside. But I got into it with Reset because I was trying to get more resources for the underserved because they don't know about it.
Right.
I wouldn't have known about it if it wasn't for some of the apps and some of the, feeds that come on your Facebook and, different things that'll connect you. But when I say that, like, that was how I just immediately got immersed. That I fell in love with the pantry. The minute I stepped on the property, it was just agape love. Like, it was like, wow.
Yeah, so
and
did I. First, I felt that. I felt that as well. One of the things you just mentioned was the 24-hour pantry. I think that's an amazing concept. And we were talking about it a little bit. Ken, why don't you, she knows it. She's been saying this forever, right? Why don't you explain it, right? Explain it.
She says it, and when I say it comes out so fluently, listen.
Yeah.
Okay, so this 24/7 pantry, right, which is amazing.
You just sit over there for a minute.
Okay. I hear you. I don't mind thinking about it.
It's super amazing. Okay, a lot of people don't even grasp the concept. They're still like, this is too good to be true. Like, I can just open the refrigerator. I can just grab that off the shelf. I can get that.
Yeah.
You got a bag for me?
Yeah.
I can get more than 2 items. You don't tell me what to get. You don't come out here and pick it for me. That's not what our pantry is about. And a lot of people, when I say like this has an amazing impact on the community, because now we don't have as much theft in the neighborhood stores, because not only does her pantry provide food, but she got name brand stuff.
Right.
All the name brand stuff, like the good food, the good cereal, the good meats, everything that's going to fill you up. And God and the community is standing behind her. And when I say it's expanding so fast in front of my eyes, like every day we get a new piece of a pantry. Like every day we have something else to add to the pantry. The love of and the outpour that we get from volunteers, because we do have a lot of volunteers. We do have a lot of organizations that come and donate. We have Fishing Point. They always bring us things. We have she's partnered with another organization that she actually helped start up. Jen's name is Jen's organization.
Cruising for the Homeless.
Okay.
And she is out of Suffolk,
Right.
Whaleyville area.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're all the way in Virginia Beach. This one pantry has a impact on not only the 7 cities, but outside of the 7.
Southeastern Virginia.
Southeastern
We were
Virginia.
talking, I think we were talking last time we were talking about Franklin, right? Or was it?
Franklin, Gastonia County, North Carolina.
Which is North Carolina.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we cross.
Waverly.
Yeah,
Right.
we cross state lines. Growing up in Southampton County, like my parents are from Southampton County, Isle of Wight County, and farm agriculture.
Yeah.
There was never we can't eat, we have nothing to eat. I don't understand that in the capacity of grandmother's house is always, we could be talking to her,
Right.
like you and I are talking, and she's made a whole spread of food, and you're looking and you're like, wait a minute, she's fried fish, she's cooked chicken, she's made, turnip greens, she's made cornbread, and it's enough to feed everyone here. And so we were always taught food is plentiful. Everyone should be able to eat.
Right. Yeah.
And she also, this pantry has fresh produce. This pantry has perishables, non-perishables. And one of her biggest things are potatoes, onions, things that can make a filling meal and a big meal, or even if it's not big, something that you can take and use your resources. We have tomato soup. We have spaghetti noodles. We have so much that goes together. Peanut butter and bread. We have bananas. We have waters. So it's just like so much that goes into this, so much. And it's the thought behind it, because she's wanting to put foods out there that people can actually eat. And you know the traditional pantries. You know what they give you. They give you those canned foods.
Yeah. It's like the stuff, like the government stuff.
The government stuff. The stuff that sits in the back of the cabinet.
I grew up doing government cheese.
No, you know what I'm saying? The bologna, the thick bologna with the, and it sits in the back of your cabinet for ever, know, because even though you get it, because you're grateful for it, it still sits there because that's not something that you would eat if you had the choice.
It's not appeasing.
It's not. So we don't want people to feel like this is all I got. So let me just...
Yeah.
We want you to be happy and excited when you see this, like, oh my gosh, I get to eat today. And like I said, we want to get work done and stuff like that. But when they come to that pantry and we have filled their belly and they have had something cold to drink, we even have popsicles. It's summertime. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when they let us know, and when we see the smile on their face and the joy and the tears of happiness, and when we see that, we know, like, okay, this is enough, because it gets frustrating. Right. It gets really frustrating because you have some people that abuse it. You can't stop and talk to every single person and say, hey, listen, this isn't just for you and your family. This is for the whole entire community. Not only that, you have volunteers that have to restock this pantry. You have volunteers who have to go pick up the food. You have volunteers who handpick this food out to make sure that you get it. You have volunteers who just go to the grocery store just to make sure it's something on those shelves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, people don't know all that's behind it, and that's why I tell them she makes it look easy.
Yeah.
She makes it look extremely easy.
You sure do.
But now I'm in it.
Okay, gotcha. So you didn't think about that until, but that concept is a great concept. We were talking about that before we came in, and one of the things I thought about was being a single parent and having to work 2 jobs, right? And you may not have time to cook, or you may not, you're working 2 jobs, you don't have a lot of money. If you got to pay for a vehicle, insurance, gas, your rent, then you have very little in the food that you're going to purchase food with, and it may not be nutritious. But you can go there after work and pick things up, like you said, the meats, and you have specialties and popsicles. That's kind of like a novelty thing, right?
Right.
But kids enjoy that.
Right.
Right. So I love the idea. I love the concept. So let's talk about some of the other services you provide with Reset.
So we also do a weekly diaper distribution.
Okay.
Every Thursday between 2 to 6 p.m., a family can get 50 diapers per child once a month, no cost. And the diapers are Huggies, Pampers, we have pull-ups, we have overnights, and adult diapers as well for the Asian adults that may need those. We do this every week. I don't know if you know, but a case of diapers in a store can easily run you $50 for something disposable.
I had no idea. I know it's expensive to raise kids, though.
Right, and believe it or not,
do you have baby foods and things like that?
Sometimes we do come across baby food, cereal.
Okay.
We get wipes. Okay. Occasionally, we don't always have them. We get toiletries, so we have toothpaste, deodorant, lotions, body wash. In addition to that, we have a computer lab where we have computers connected to the internet.
That's what you consider your resource lab? Okay. Let's talk about that.
So the thing with that was, when I first started this nonprofit, that was something I envisioned having. It's like you manifest things. You put it in the atmosphere. You say, this is what I want. but how much are you willing to put into working for what it is that you say you want these? Now, how much are you going to put in? Because everything that we have in life, no matter what, it comes from what we're willing to put in, and that's what you typically sometimes get out.
Right.
Well, I was afforded the opportunity from TCC in Virginia Beach to purchase desktop computers for them at a very, very discounted rate. And so we purchased some. But then we also had a desktop and a laptop that the organization already owned to coincide with those computers.
Yeah, right.
So that youth can come in and utilize them. Senior citizens can come and utilize them. From you need to do a school project to maybe you need help recertifying for Medicare or Medicaid, or your SNAP or EBT benefits are about to expire and you need to do your recertification. Those computers are there.
Yeah. I can see that. One of the things that I've learned about you is that, well, out of high school, you went to nursing school, then you went to got your associates in business, and then you got your bachelor's, and when did you get your master's? When did you finish with that?
During
and that
COVID.
Was from
Liberty
University, right?
During COVID.
It's important that you, I think that's fantastic, because children can't study, people can't get things done if they don't have those tools, those resources. And we're in a community where you can do pretty much anything on your phone or your laptop or your tablet anymore. So that is a great concept that you came up with. I just absolutely think that's fantastic. Talk about tutoring. You do tutoring too?
Yes.
Okay.
So
since we're on the thing about education, so where did that concept come from?
So I'm, as you mentioned, I am into education.
Yes.
That is something that I definitely am a person who rallies behind the importance of it. Is it for everyone to go out here and get, a master's or PhD? Maybe not. But I'm big in, I need you to be able to get the basics.
Right.
And some children just don't have it. Like you said, some parents work 2 jobs. So when do you have time to tutor? Yeah. The school teachers are trying to do a lot.
Yeah.
But they can't do everything.
Right.
Now we have standardized tests that these children have to get prepared for. So when my children, who are now adults, were younger, every summer we would work on SOL activities for the upcoming grade that they were going to.
Really?
So it was no video games all summer. They went to summer camp every summer, and the home time when we were home, mm-hmm. you had 3 pages every day to do in this book to get prepared for the next grade level. Now, to some children, my children's mother was strict. No, I allowed them to have fun, but I wanted to get them prepared for the next grade level, for what's about to come. The summer is fine to have fun, and I want you to do that, but I also want you to be prepared. But I also realized with my youngest son, the children were like night and day. One just grasped things so quickly. One was a little bit different. He's a thinker. He's going to sit and analyze, and it's going to take him a little while longer than someone else to answer that question or to pick something out of the store. It could be something as simple as, okay, guys, go pick out something. And I remember asking him one day, I said, well, how come it takes you so long? And he looked at me and he says, because I don't want to get something just to get it, and I may not really want it because I didn't really think it through.
Right.
Well, that's a different learner, right?
Right.
I paid for tutoring for him because what I learned was, even though I was one into education and even though my oldest was a scholar as well, I realized that we couldn't do for him what he needed. So I hired tutors. I remember looking into Sylvian Learning Center and seeing the cost. Most single parents, even 2-income families with a father and a mother, can't afford the tutoring cost.
Right.
So shortly after COVID, a lot of these kids went back into the schools and they were so behind. I said, well, I can do some virtual tutoring. We can do Zoom, we can tutor these kids. If they can't get to us, we can go to them, or we can do this virtually.
Right.
And so in a lot of instances, that's what we had to do. We worked with a Cox cable provider who would help those that qualified to get the free internet service at home if they didn't have it. Mm-hmm. I work with an organization called One Simple Wish. They help us fulfill wishes from children as young as infants all the way up into maybe, let's say, 24 years old.
Yeah.
And so if there is a need for a tablet or a computer in the home, they help us fulfill these wishes for these children so they can get what they need.
Awesome. That is very awesome. You, honestly, I think you said you grew up in D.C.
Yeah.
And you grew up in the city?
In the city.
Oh, okay.
I grew up in the city, Southwest. So
Okay.
everybody knows what Southwest is. That is like the inner city. That's where it all
Right.
pops off.
So how would you say you growing up there has translated to being able to assist Reset with
The only
goals?
saying that
Yeah.
the only saying that kept coming to my mind
Yeah.
during this discussion was, two backgrounds can still breed the same thing. Two different backgrounds can definitely still breed to the same passion, because unlike Bree, I came up in a totally different background. I was in a single parent home, and my mom had 6 girls. I'm the last.
Okay.
I'm the baby. So, I got all the hand-me-downs. I was really good in school, though. I'm a super smart. I went to Norfolk State. We're just different. We're the same, but we're different. We come from different things. And all I can say is that my passion comes from my experience. What I went through, I never want people to go through that without support, without help. Because one thing I didn't hear her mention is that she's very close to a lot of mental health people, like people with mental health illness. It's really like most of the people that come to her pantry suffer from mental health illnesses. Most of these adults, most of these children, they still suffer from mental health illnesses. So she's a healer. So a lot of people are attracted to her because she says she's a tutor. I say she's a mentor.
Yeah.
Me personally,
Right.
More of a mentor. Tutor too, because the tutors teach. I just say that she's an amazing leader. Amazing mentor. It doesn't matter where you come from. Mm-hmm. She doesn't have any judgment in her. She's like so understand. She wants to understand, like, okay, I didn't come from that, but how was that? Are you okay? How did it make you? Let's grow from it. Let's heal from it.
Yeah.
What does it teach you? Like, you don't let that hold you down. You are not your mental health. You are not your disability. You are not that. Today is going to be better than tomorrow. Not today can be better than tomorrow. Today is going to be better than yesterday. Today is going to be, that's what it is. You don't get no younger. You got to do it now. You got to do it today. No procrastination. And a lot of people can respect that. A lot of people can respect that. I needed structure. I need structure in my life. That's just how I am. I can't say it any other way. They hear my name, they'll be able to YouTube or look it up. I'm not going to go into detail, but I will say that two different backgrounds breeded the same passion, because now she's helping me start a nonprofit organization, and I couldn't have even fathomed it. I would have never thought like, oh, I could be in this line of work too. She like, everybody got a pass. That's what she said to me. Like, I don't care. Everybody has a pass.
Right.
But that's what's going to help you and me build a successful future.
Yeah. So, Sabrina, let's talk about an experience that you had growing up, with your mother. It's just because you mentioned that in, talking to you and in your bio. So, talk about.
So my parents divorced when I was young, toddler age.
Right.
And so I was born in Virginia. We lived in Indianapolis. And my mom always was a worker. Like, she tells me sometimes to this day, she'll say, you do so much, but I grew up watching you. Children mimic, right?
Yeah.
So I remember my mom didn't get any subsidy. I mean, none.
Hard work.
So, but worked 2 jobs. I mean, I remember having the microwave with the dial. Okay, so like, because you can't burn your house down with those, because they're only going to go up to a certain amount of minutes, right?
Right.
We had the answering machine. When you hear my voice, pick up the phone. I know about latchkey. I know about being a latchkey kid. Did that make her a bad mother? No, because my mother's theory has always been I trusted my children to look after themselves sometimes better than I trusted other people to look after them, because I need to be able to work to provide. So I remember growing up, we had food, but there was things that you want as a kid. You see other kids have that we didn't have. No fault of hers, we just didn't have it. Yeah. I had what I needed, maybe not so much what I wanted.
Right.
So I remember going across the street one morning before school. I was in elementary school. And I said, all these kids at school, they have these Lunchables. I think Lunchables probably just came out. They were new. I just got to have one. I had to have it.
Right.
So I go across the street, and I've never publicly even shared this story with anyone. And I just mentioned it to my mom last week. And she laughed, but she was like, the things kids do and remember. But I'm going to go in this store. And it was cold outside. So I take the Lunchable and I stick it in my coat. Then I go down to candy aisle and I'm like, well, I'm going to get this bag of, Hershey Kisses, chocolate candy. Well, I had gotten the Lunchable in my coat. And somehow when I went to put the candy, I don't know if I was hugging it so tight that the plastic popped and the candy dropped. And the security guards got me. And they sat me down and asked me my name. I'm a kid. I'm in elementary school. And they had to call my mother to come from her job. And as dark-skinned as I am, when my mother got there, I was pale. Because I knew, my mom had to come from her job. I got caught stealing. She's doing the best she could. But the awakening moment for me was to see her cry. Because I wasn't taking it because I was starving at home, but I wanted something I didn't have, which is why we try to make sure we have things that are appealing to the children, the teenagers, at our pantry. Because it's not the child's fault that there's a lack of income or a lack of funding to be able to get that novelty popsicle or to be able to get that bag of Doritos or to be able to get some fruit snacks or cookies or whatever it is you may want. I didn't understand it as a child, but as an adult, I look back on that and I said, I realized, no, it wasn't the thing to do, but I realized how children can be so vulnerable and sucked into seeing what the other kids have and wanted, and how they can get trapped into certain lifestyles. Well, we can't have it, or they become angry because they're in poverty. It's not their fault. It's not that their parents aren't trying. They just don't have the means.
Right.
And that's where you have your working poor, Al.
Yeah.
They work every day. They work 2 jobs. They're trying to provide. They've paid their rent. They've paid their utility bills. They've used what they had left to buy what they could afford to buy, but there's no extra.
Right. Yeah. So you just thought about that, huh? But that manifested itself in you, and that's exactly why you have a diversity in various things when it comes to foods, right? That's where all that started. And it just dawned on you a few days ago.
Well, I have foster children. I fostered 2 boys.
Oh, okay.
And so with that, you see all types of things because it depends on what they've been through and experienced, right? Okay. So I was relating that story to something one of them had done. And I said, Mom, I'm getting ready to say something. I said, don't swear at me when I say what I'm about to say. And she said, what are you about to say? She's on the phone and she's like, what are you about to say? And I said it, and she said, boy, But for me, I'm that parent, whether it's my own biological children or the children that I take on as though they're mine, that I foster and that I say, I've been where you are. Guess what? Come on out. Don't even try to listen. I've been living a little bit longer than you, and I already know. Don't tell me you didn't, because you did. We're going to get past it, but this is what we have to talk about. This is what we have to address. Yeah. And I know what it's like to be that child. Yeah. That wants that lunchbox so bad. Like, I remember being a kid thinking, if you could take lunch to school, that's top notch. You're doing big things if you can pull up and you got this Lunchable, And even to this day now, I just purchased Lunchables for the foster boys that I have in my care now. And it's still an excitement for them. Yeah. That didn't change too much from being a 7-year-old kid to now being, 44 years old. The the feeling of what it felt like for them to come home from school to go and get that pizza Lunchable, it still was excitement for them.
Yeah.
And so if they feel like this and they're in my care, these other children feel the same way.
Right. It's good to be practical. I mean, because you have to have a baseline, but it's always good to add in that little extra so you appreciate things. So I'm sure that they appreciate it, you know. So you also, let's see, you do a lot.
I do.
You do a lot. So tax services as well, financial services.
Yes. So I'm not as engrossed. I still do it. Okay. I'm mostly seasonal, and I'm not as engrossed in it as I used to be.
Well, do you have the time?
So, no.
Okay.
But I make it. Okay. I make the time because I have some clients that every year I say the same thing. I'm getting out of this business. I'm not doing this anymore. And every year they beg and plead with me not to. Because in doing tax preparation, I'm an educator. So that's always going to come first. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, but I'm going to teach you.
Right.
So my thing is, it's not enough just to get you a refund or keep you from owing the Internal Revenue Service. I need you to understand why we are here, why we are doing what we're doing, and what you can do better.
Right.
I have some clients that have come to me and they have started out small businesses, and they may have been an investor of one property, and now they have a portfolio of maybe 20. I service your local sheriffs, but then I also have some doctors, and I have some people with behavioral health practices. I have clients in Seattle. I have clients in North Carolina. Much like my nonprofit organization, I extend my services where they're needed. And if I can be a resource to anyone in need, that's what I do. Is it a lot? Sometimes, yes.
Yeah.
It can be.
Yeah, but it's good because I don't think a lot of people that say that they want to start businesses grasp all the different things that go into it from a financial standpoint, and then have a checks and balances. I mean, you can have a specific strength, right? But if you've not learned, and they don't really teach you in school,
they do not,
how to balance a checkbook, how to manage finances, and it's something that I feel like is needed as a business person. I'm like, those are things that are
needed, or they should be a requirement, because I tell my business owners there's more to owning businesses than making the money.
Yeah.
See, because then you on the back end, I haven't filed taxes in 4 or 5 years.
Oof. Yeah.
And we get them. We get them. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It happens. Oh, and I'm like, and people say, you can make a lot of money. Yeah, but it's also a lot of headache. So, because most people that haven't done that, 9 times out of 10, they haven't kept, good records. They don't have receipts. They don't.
And they want you to work a miracle.
And they want you to work a miracle. So
you help with that as well?
Yes.
And I say she's an amazing mentor. She's amazing. I told you I couldn't leave. So I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? At first it was the pantry and it was just the nonprofit side, but then I just got so engulfed in it, and I was like, what can I do? I want to learn. Because when you start learning around her, she has so much to soak up because she does so much. So it's not like you can be around her and be like, okay, well, I'm gonna just stick to this portion of it and let you handle that. No, it's not like that. So when and I love math, I love school, I love education as well. I love learning. So when I sat around her, and when I say the cases this year were like, I think I had to log maybe 50. I can't even, listen, it's major. She does. Sometimes we be at the building till 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yes.
Because we have to make sure that what the nonprofit needs is taken care of, her home health care, because I'm also helping her with that as well, and her tax business, home life, because she has foster kids. So she has all these different, and she's so used to doing it alone. Talk about a person who is just so independent. She has to fight herself to be like, all right, I'm gonna let you do this, because she's so used to handling everything by herself. I'm just like, let me soak it up. Let me. She carries it
one
like
day she's going to be tired and she ain't going to be able to.
I say it now, but and there's been some, I call them soldiers, that have been sent to lighten my load. Miss Wilhelmina, amazing, the Church with No Walls. She is a gourmet chef. So in addition to the food that we put in this pantry, we have gourmet chef meals also.
Wow.
They had these submarines that were Italian submarines, handmade with oil and vinegar and herbs, tomatoes, peppers, pickles. I mean, amazing. They had apple glazed chicken and homemade mashed potatoes.
Really?
Oh yeah, we feed them very well. That's why they keep coming back.
She started it with the chili. She's the one who started the gourmet meals.
That's the first time I heard about chili. What's up with the chili?
Exactly. She started that.
So January of this year, we did a Warm in the City event.
Okay.
And that's part of our community outreach. Mm-hmm. We gave away about 200 coats. We had 13 different soups and chilies that we allowed people to get, because part of Warming the City, we want to warm your hands, your feet, your head, your body. And we want to have warm meals. So we had hot chocolate, coffee, and then we had all these different soups and chilies for them. If they didn't want to come in and eat them, we had to go containers and they could take the soup and the crackers. We had saltines, club crackers, oyster crackers. And then we had crocheted blankets, hats, gloves, socks, sheets.
Scarves.
So the response, one, from the community, how large is it? And then two, what kind of assistance are you getting from the community?
In addition to everything else I do, I write my own grants. So as of right now, we do not receive any federal, state, or city funding. So everything we do comes from our fundraising efforts, the private sector grants that I write, or in-kind donations, or us using our own resources to keep and sustain this nonprofit organization. The community support for the Warm in the City event in January was amazing. I mean, we were getting coats dropped off. We had 2 carloads full of coats that were donated from a gym in Virginia Beach, because we're partners with Operation Warmth.
Yeah.
And 75% of the coats were brand new.
Wow.
Then we had about 4 or 5 people in the community that signed up to participate, and we did a chili cook-off, who had the best chili. So we had like chicken and dumplings, we had white bean chili, we had regular beef chili, we had a vegetarian chili, we had chicken and wild rice soup, we had we had so much.
Navy bean
soup. I mean, amazing. And people from the community, especially Virginia Beach, turned out. Some of these people have been with my nonprofit organization since we were founded in 2023.
Yeah.
And some of them have been with us since I started this 24/7 pantry last July. So we have a grilling and chilling event coming up July 6th, which marks the 2-year anniversary of Reset Inc. as a nonprofit, and a 1-year anniversary for the 24/7 food pantry. And some of these people have been with us ever since we started.
Yeah. So where exactly is it located?
So we are at the trifecta point of Norfolk, Chesapeake, and Virginia Beach. We sit at we're 1 block away from Virginia Beach, and 1 block back, we're in Chesapeake. So we're in the College Park area. We're off of Auburn Drive or Haywood Street, depending on which direction you're coming. So we're located at 1109 South Military Highway. But even though we're in Chesapeake, we service citizens from all cities: Portsmouth, Suffolk, like we were saying, Franklin, Virginia. We send food to Gastonia County. Earlier this year, we sent hurricane disaster relief food to Asheville, North Carolina.
Really?
And my director actually went there to help to do cleanup efforts.
Wow.
So we definitely try to take part in as many, we want to be a light, a sign of hope for people. No matter what, we have homeless people that we know. We have one lady that is the driving force behind my food pantry that I met a year ago. And her talking to me and telling me her story is why I decided to expand the pantry and keep going, because she was helping me one day as I was throwing some boxes away. And I said, listen, I don't have much over here, but if you ever need, at the time I was only doing non-perishable foods.
Right.
I said, we have food over here. If you ever need it, help yourself. She said, oh, I know, I'm homeless. I've been eating off of your hummus and pretzel chips for the last 2 days.
That is awesome.
She said, I don't take more than what I need, but if you ever come across soap, socks, shirts, I'm homeless, I could utilize these things. And I went in the building and I stopped and I had to think. And I had some Anthem Health Keepers t-shirts that had been given to us because they came out and talked to some of our patients.
Right.
I had socks, I had body wash. I don't know if we spoke on this, but in my facility, I have a shower, which if you're a homeless person or in a crisis situation and you need to come in, store your stuff in a locker, you can also take a shower.
Wow.
Get cleaned up and leave. Well, this lady said these are the things that she needed and could use. And I went in and I got a bunch of stuff she mentioned, put it in the bag and gave it to her. Not even a year later, she came back doing one of our fundraising events and donated. And she said, you fed me when I was hungry, and I'll forever be grateful.
Yeah, she's out of the situation. She's not homeless anymore.
She still, and we would say homeless, yes.
Okay.
She has a tent that she lives in. She has a cat.
So there's some other issues going on, but she was very grateful for what you did.
But she didn't have income at the time, and now she does have it may be a reduced income, but it is an income now, which she didn't have that at the time.
Yeah. Before you came here today, you had an experience.
Yes, this morning.
Right. So talk about that.
So about 8:30-ish this morning, I got a text message. And it said, Miss Sabrina, I'm sorry to bother you. I know you're resting. I know you're planning on coming in later, but I need to send you this video. And our pantry had been vandalized. There were produce scattered across the sidewalk, canned goods scattered across the sidewalk. I was astonished to see, I'm like, wow, who would do this? So instantly, I went to my camera because one of the reasons we can do this 24/7 pantry is because we have surveillance. There's 2 cameras outside of the building. So I went through and I started going through the footage, and I looked at 8:05. There was an older lady that came, picked up a few items she needed, and about 4 minutes after her, a gentleman walked up. He looked like he had just walked from the food line. He had a food line bag in his left hand, and he took his right hand and he knocked over all the fruit and produce that was on the produce stands. And then he proceeded to go to the shelves and knock over canned goods and take bags and scatter them across the pantry on the sidewalk. And he walked off.
I'm sorry.
So me being me, this is a 7-day job for me, Al. Like, to stock that pantry and to make sure these people eat is a 7-day job. Whether anybody else shows up or not, I'm going to be there.
Right.
And I went to the Nextdoor app and Facebook and I said, what we do here is unorthodox. There's no other 24/7 pantry in Hampton Roads. Other pantries give out food, but they box the items up and they give them to the individuals. They don't allow them to do what we consider people's choice. You can walk up and select what you want. I'm not giving you what you want, what I want you to have. I'm allowing you to select it. So when you think of that and you think that someone would come up and vandalize the property and do this, it is bothersome. And so I went to social media and I made a post, and I also put the photos out there. I said, if you know this gentleman who came up and did this is who he is. And in some instances, one bad apple can in fact spoil a bunch, because there are families and children and seniors and veterans that depend on the services that we offer.
Yes. Yeah.
We're here to be a beacon of hope, to take the burden off of other pantries, to take the burden off of loss prevention for having to watch these people come in to steal, because you don't have to steal what we give for free.
Right. I love that. Okay. People don't realize grocery stores, places where you can get nutritious meals, are leaving low income areas. And what you're doing is you're providing you're providing goods that are nutritious and they're varied and they're healthy, right? So when you're making beans and chili, okay, those are the kind of things that my mom would make. So and it would be the whole week. So we would have a nutritious, balanced meal, right? So what are you going to get now from the convenience store? A hot dog that's been processed so yeah, it's very disturbing that someone would do that. It's just that's perhaps they just had some issues.
And it could be mental health because like Honesty said, we do have a lot of people that deal with behavioral health. Right now, we just started tapping into doing delivery services. So right now, we're fundraising and doing our campaign for a refrigerated truck for our...
Right, you talked to me about it last time.
Yeah.
Go ahead, yeah.
Our nonprofit organization.
She needs help with this, folks.
Yes.
Love this idea. Go ahead.
2 weeks ago, we picked up 4,600 pounds of food from the food bank, which I had to rent a U-Haul, and we had to utilize our vehicles, our personal vehicles as well, to get everything we had from the food bank, some of which we purchased, and that's another thing people don't realize is we can go to the food bank and get items that we don't pay for, but we spend roughly $300+ a month. It's discounted, but it's still an expense, along with going to our local wholesalers, Costco, Restaurant Depot, Sam's Club, BJ's, to purchase additional items. So we don't just rely on what's for free. But we are renting a U-Haul, which is an expense, and then we have to, of course, put the fuel back in the U-Haul, which is an expense. We could do more and go out more in the community, but what we're using is a Dodge Grand Caravan that I should be able to send out my volunteers to take food to those who can't get to the pantry, senior citizens, families in need. We're utilizing that to the max capacity. We need this refrigeration truck because, again, 4,600 pounds of food is not a little bit of food.
Right.
We had television dinners, cereal, flapjacks. I mean, you name it. We had it, produce.
So where are you guys taking this stuff to? Because you're doing the outreach part, right?
Yeah.
Where is this? Who are you taking these things to?
So one of my major spots that I go to is MacArthur Square.
Yeah.
MacArthur Square, where there are just an unimaginable amount of homeless people. And they can't get anywhere. They don't have any transportation. I actually just got super involved with this dude in MacArthur Square. He has a dog. His name is Jeff and his dog's name is King. And I seen them out there and the dog was puking and throwing up. And I asked him what was wrong? And he was like, well, we haven't eaten in 2 days. So, of course, I called Bree, she's like, go to the pantry, get him something to eat. What does he need? He needs a blanket and things like that. So it's MacArthur Square, Church Street. I go to Portsmouth, Jefferson Avenue in Portsmouth, behind these Wawas, because there are tents always behind the Wawas, behind the hotels. There are always homeless people hanging out behind these Days Inn, these Red Roof Inns, these Motel 6s, the Super 8s, Chesapeake.
How often do you do this?
Every day.
And then we deliver to families in need. So yesterday, I had 3 to deliver to. One was a family of 6 in Chesapeake. One was a family of 3 in Virginia Beach. And then there was a gentleman in Norfolk that was a family of 2. And if you can imagine, with everything else on our plates that we do, to do this extra piece, it wants another vehicle, a refrigeration truck. I would much rather go into some of the food desert communities where there's not grocery stores because they're leaving. When I do my stats and I present to city council, one of the things I do is the demographics of what is needed and why it's needed. You have a lot of people with transportation barriers. Yep. They are in communities where the closest store may be 15 minutes away. They have no transportation. And if you can't buy food, can you pay for rideshare? Probably not. In addition to that, this is another piece I want to add. Yes, a lot of low-income people have SNAP and EBT benefits, right? Mm-hmm. There are Instacart. So people say, they can deliver. But there is only one retail grocery store in Hampton Roads that I know of that have same store pricing, and that's Food Lion, which is one of my largest supporters. They support our organization a lot with in-kind donations of gift cards, and sometimes Carolina Feeds Foundation will present us with a check once or twice a year. But these people are using Instacart to shop from Walmart and other places, but there's higher prices when you shop. So you're not getting in-store pricing. So then your benefits are not going to last you throughout the month. Mm-hmm. So when you look at why is there a need for food? Well, let's see. I don't have transportation, so I have to order it. And if I order it, I'm paying higher prices, and then I'm paying a delivery or convenience fee for getting it delivered to me.
Wow.
Now, if I place an order out and they don't have something I selected and they replace it with something else, it could be a higher price, right? Well, then that's even more money deducted from the balance on my EBT card. And so it's not going to last you 30 days. And a lot of people, especially those parents with 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 kids, they're getting this because they need to get the food, but it's not the best use of their benefits.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the way things are going, a lot of those programs will wind up going away.
And what will they do then?
You're going to be super busy in this area, probably.
Yeah. And we just...
You're already busy.
Yeah, it's super busy. But you touched on something earlier when she was talking about the resource lab. So we're also working on, because when I started working with her, like I said, a lot of what she does sparked a lot of things that I do today.
Right. Because
it's certain resources that we need. And the way that she moves, I went out and found a phone company, because me personally, I'm an individual. I was an individual homeless person. I don't have any children or anything like that. So when I was fighting the poor and the poverty and the homelessness, I was fighting it by myself, and we still couldn't get any resources. So I see how it is for women with children. That's the reason I don't have any children, because in a world that is like a crab, dog eat dog, you got to fight to... You work, you live from paycheck to paycheck. I just didn't feel like it would be, appropriate for me to bring a kid into this world. But at the same time, it starts with communication. It starts with having a computer to be able to look up these resources. It starts with being able to actually go apply for benefits. Sometimes you can't, transportation barriers, you can't get there. But if you have a communication device, because like you said, you can do everything from your phone just about, from a tablet just about. If we can be a maximum resource to the community, which is what we're doing, we're trying to maximize and add as many services as we can, so it can be kind of like a one-stop shop, so that we can send them to the DHS, to whatever, social services they need. And we can have an inside connect and say, hey, I'm sending this person, we just got somebody at the building and they need this, they need that. On top of that, we're able to, being her outreach director, I have phones that with free service, but they cut the program. So all I have is SIM cards, no devices. So it's like they took half the battle away. Yeah. It was going so well when they gave us these phones to be able to go with the SIM cards. How are you going to tell a homeless person, like, oh yeah, you can get a SIM card, but now you got to go find a phone?
And when you do these things, and I always like to say this, and I know a lot of people will agree to disagree, but the word project, everything, and this is my, from my observation, the government does is almost like a project, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a study. It's to see, well, how many people will be impacted if we cut this, because then you're going to do stats. Everything is numbers. It's a number game. Everything with everybody is numbers. Some of the pushback I used to get from different cities, why they wouldn't fund us, is, well, how many people from our city do you service? Hunger has no age, no city, no gender. When your belly's hungry, right? Okay, but the pushback that I would get from council is, well, how many of our residents are impacted by it? Well, how about this? You come down to this pantry and volunteer with me, and you can see how many of your people come. You sit right here with your clicker or whatever you need to use and find out what city. No, seriously, because the people that sit in these seats aren't here doing the work every single day that we do every single day.
And I think we're in a place in period right now where we have people that can't relate to things like.
And you say, well, do you know how much a dozen eggs is? No. You know, some of these people don't even do their own grocery shopping, so they cannot relate to what it's like to be in some of the shoes of some of these people. Right. And even if they say, well, growing up, I remember, but you're not there anymore. So imagine back then, the minimum wage might have been $5. Now it's $13. But now what is your typical rent? $1,000, $1,200 a month. And that's low income rent. That's not even, you know, it's taking 4 and 5 people in a household to be able to just sustain.
Right. So you can work 2 jobs. I've actually known people who have had 2 jobs. People have had good jobs and were homeless and they had to sleep in their car.
Yes.
Right. I was homeless for a while. Yes. So it changed things for me, the way I approach things and people. And that's because you don't have money for everything else.
Right.
Right.
And it's not that in some instances, like I was talking to Ms. Green earlier today, and it's not that you don't want to do better or you don't try. Let me tell you something. Ms. Neely, I have driven Uber. When my children were coming up, and I've always worked, but I have driven Uber. Yeah. I have sold on eBay. I have sold Avon. Yeah. I have donated plasma. You know, people, that's such a bad thing to do. Let me explain something to you. It's legal. Okay? You're not standing out here asking for a handout. You are doing what you have to do. So I don't anticipate when my sons go out here and decide that they're going to get in relationships or get married, that they would probably even select, they saw me and what I did to make sure they were okay. They went without nothing, but that's because I was the type of mother that I was. I didn't want them to be a statistic. I didn't want anybody to say, oh, poor little black boy, you need a sandwich, you can't eat. I didn't want them to go through any of that. Yeah.
Your mom built a foundation.
Right. Yeah. And even now, my mother will cry because somebody's hungry. It's not funny, but it bothers her that someone can't eat. Yeah. And even my mother will bake spaghettis and different things, and she'll put them in the pantry, refrigerator. Yeah. There's nothing in the pantry's low. We need to put food out. There's nothing there. During the snow earlier this year, we watched people walk in the snow aisle to come get food. You're not walking in the snow to get food unless you're hungry.
And so in the snow, we did what we could, which wasn't much. It definitely broke our hearts, literally, we were whole babies, oh my God, why?
But you know how many other places do that? None.
Yeah.
So
you have to have that. What I tell people, I've always been a giver. I've always loved the children. Yeah. It's my life. And so when I tell people I eat, live, sleep, and breathe this, I even do it at home in my personal life. And people say, you foster kids too? Oh, yes, I do that too. Yeah. When you come into the nonprofit world, people assume that you're becoming millionaires. Let me explain something to you. I do not pay myself. I don't get paid for this work. I get paid in the smiles and the hope that I give to people. Right. But there's no check that comes from this. Yeah. I'm not becoming a millionaire off of this. And honestly, almost everything I get, I turn right back around and pour right back into the community. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. So we're going to have to end it. So what would you like for people that are listening to this and are going to see this? What would you like for people to know? What would you like for people to help you with? And then how can they get in contact with you?
So what I would like people to know is, as things are changing in the economy, and we all are aware, and if we're not, then we need to research as to what we are dealing with now and what may come. We need to together join forces as a community, regardless of your background, regardless of, your beliefs, and understand we are trying to feed communities. My assistance to the community is not restricted by what city you live in, your gender, your age, none of that. We help everyone in need. And so with that being said, partner. If you know it's a neighbor in your community that may be needing something, even if they don't ask, but there's a need, grab that box of food and sit it on their doorstep. See what you can do to help. Pull the trash can out to the curb because that person may not be able, or they may be working 2 or 3 jobs and they forgot it was trash day. This is the time that everyone needs that seed sown whether it's a child, whether it's an adult, whether it's a veteran. We all need to do our part. And our organization right now, we want to keep our shelves stocked. So unexpired food donations are great, things to do. If you're in the market and there's tuna on sale, or if you're in the store and there's cereal, it's the summertime. These kids need to continue to eat. We need a refrigerated truck. If you want a tax deductible, tax deduction for donating, donate. Our website is www.resetvirginia, spelled out, .org. We have Cash App, $, RESET, VAINC. Call us, 757-362-1157. Come to our location. We're at 1109 South Military Highway. Volunteer. People tell me, well, I don't have anything to donate, but you have time. And see, that's my pushback. I used to be the person, I'm not going to say, no, I'm not, because it takes the help of every single person that is able-bodied to help. People will say, oh, that's so sad somebody vandalized your building, but I fed your whole family for a year. And you won't come help and say, well, let me help. Do you need me to help break down boxes? I get more volunteer support from seniors than youth. That should never be the case, because they have paid their dues to society. They should be able to sit. But that's where you get your help. And they still work jobs on top of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. So she told you where she's located. She told you what she needs. And then if you can't get there in person, you can call, or you can make a donation through one of the provided apps or services that she has a platform. So thank you for coming in. I just love what you're doing.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time. We'll see everybody next time on Listen Up. You have a good day.